All right, so we're gonna make this a quick one. Um, it should be pretty evident what we're gonna talk about real quick, but I just want to say, like, the Bulls are 3-4 right now. Last year, I was giving predictions in tens, right? At this time last year, the Bulls were 6-1. I only had one loss, and it was to the Knicks. And that was the game that Paul went down, and they only lost that game by like 4 points. Maybe it was five, but I remember like 4 points, right? This year, you got healthy Paul. I mean, they're load managing Zach, and the only difference is you really don't have Lonzo, but apparently you got a better backup center for sure in Drummond. You don't have a guy like Troy Brown, but you also have Kobe available. He's healthy. So you got the continuity thing. You got better parts, and the only missing person is Zoe. And if you want to say, okay, well, Zach is half healthy, well, Zach was also half healthy last year because he had the thumb ligament injury, which healed over time, and then he went to the knee. Um, and I apologize for my freaking alarm going off. I'm waiting on maintenance to come up here and change that shit out. So just bear with me or ignore it. But here we are. This team already got more losses than they had in like the first, like they got the same amount of losses they had in the first 12 games last year because they played the Nets. Nets was game 10. They beat the Nets. They went on to play the Mavericks. They beat the Mavericks. They got blown out by Golden State, and they didn't have Vooch at this time due to COVID. And then they won like the next 3-4 games, the LA games. I can't remember if it was Denver that they had played next, and then they had lost to like Portland and whatnot. But they already got more losses in less games, in half the games essentially. Defensively, they're shit. I saw a stat that came out yesterday where the first quarter offensively they're bad, but defensively I think they're really good. The second and third quarter they look phenomenal. The fourth quarter they're like last in scoring and defense, like they are just terrible. And the first quarter I kind of attribute that to the Bulls not being ready to play. I also attribute that to teams taking them as a threat and treating them as such. After that, the second quarter, I feel like there's an adjustment on Billy Donovan's end, along with the other team being a little bit lackadaisical. But I think our bench has more of a go to it, a little bit more alpha than what you're expecting with the first unit. And then they have DeMar running the show too. So they get going. Okay, cool. Third quarter, I think the momentum carries on. Fourth quarter, I think the other team is like, all right, y'all, it's go time. And the coach adjusts, and at that point, I don't think there's anything else you could do because it's the DeMar show, it's the Zach ISO show, and all they're gonna do is dribble the air out the ball and take a bad fucking shot or a contested ass shot, and the game's gonna go away because they don't play defense. And so, with that being said, I don't really see how this team, like, again, I think Bleacher Report had them at like the 10th best team, which is like the final play in spot you could be in. I think they are still at 10 right now. I could be wrong. Now I'm open to being wrong. How in the hell are you supposed to win games when you're atrocious on defense? That shit didn't get fixed. And I don't trust anybody on this team to knock down threes. I mean, Vooch is doing a pretty solid job, it looks like. But outside of him, Dragic has been hitting too, so I got to give him credit. Outside of those two, and maybe Zach, who do I like? Where are the shooters? I don't know. And we were hearing talk, oh, Io can replace Zoe. Io can replace Zoe. That shit died, man. It's a different game. It is a different fucking game. All right, cool. He had a game or two. He did good. All right, he attacks the rim. All right, whatever. He still blow layups like Zoe do. Okay. 12 and a half points, like, I think 4 assists, 2 rebounds, some shit like that. Zoe basically gave you similar points, more rebounds, more assists, better shooting, like better defense, like their perimeter defense is shit. Yeah, they got Caruso, but Caruso can't even get around fucking screens right now. So, like, what is this about? Okay, then we got Paul. I have a video to drop with Paul, but I need to go look over because I did it a couple weeks ago. I just hadn't uploaded it yet because I had some other stuff going on with the channel. But here's the thing, man. Paul, you don't know is he starting? Is he coming off the bench? I don't know. When he plays, he don't want to play because he got them two juggernauts next to him and he deferred. Okay. And he had a solid game last game, but here's the thing with Paul. And I'm going to be 100% honest with y'all. It's too late to trade Paul. It's too late. It's too late because if you were going to trade him, you need to trade him off of the hope that he would be better. You needed to get something better. Rudy Gobert. Trying to get Karl Anthony Towns or someone. AD. You need to try to get guys that are like better. Better bigs. He's playing like shit. And you want to pop. I hear people talking about trade Paul for what? He not going to get you anything. There's no point. No point. So, this trade Paul shit is dead unless he goes on a nice little tear and he's giving you buckets and shit. In which case, you would want to keep him. But that's not even the worst part about this, right? The worst part about all of this is, okay, you might say, well, Wemby is, going to be generational. You should tank for Wemby. Very good. Except there's only one problem. We don't have our own first round pick. So if we did tank for Wemby, we'd be helping out, is it Orlando? Yeah, we'd be helping out. San Antonio. We'd be helping them out. Can't even tank. We're in the worst spot you could be in. We're not good enough to tank, and we don't have the resources to tank. And no matter how hard we try, we'll never be better than the better teams. Still couldn't beat Philadelphia the other night. Still couldn't. Couldn't do shit with them. So that's where we're at. And at some point, I expect the fire Billy Donovan to start to creep up a little bit louder, get a little bit louder. But as it stands, man, this is your Chicago Bulls. And I wouldn't say that this is a hard ass schedule right now, but I mean, this is where we are to start. Will the team get better? Yeah. If and when Zoe comes back, be needed. But and I'll say this: if they had Zoe, I think they'd be 5-2 right now, honestly. But they're supposed to play Brooklyn tonight. Brooklyn off of a back-to-back, so they should beat Brooklyn. But would it surprise me if Brooklyn just came in and beat them? Hell no, it wouldn't surprise me. So, what are we gonna do? This Chicago Bulls, people, like I'm not emotionally invested into this season like I was last year. Last year, it was I was ready for the season, hyped for the season. You know, I'm glad to see Zoe on another team. He actually got a solid ass team. They win the games. They win his games because of Zoe. You know, I was ready for the year. This shit is a repeat of last year, except everybody else got better. And in the first few games of the season, you can already tell. You can already tell that they suck. Y'all have a good one.